What's up, guys? It is Alex or Void Wolves here, and I'm coming at you with a brand new video. So I just want to start out by saying this video is not going to be the best video I will post from an emotional standpoint. Obviously, I mean, it's gonna. Hopefully it will be good, but it's gonna be hard for me to talk about it. However, there will be starting out with a good first topic. So man, first off by saying my window's open, so if you hear a breeze, that's what it is. But mainly, the bigger thing is that I quit COD. I don't know if I'm going to go back after whenever, if I even go back with the next game, but right now I've said I'm quitting COD, I'm not doing it. If they even hear a slight word of supply drops in the next game, I'm gonna not buy it for at least 10 months after, like not even 10 months, like 2 or 3 months after. If I hear a word of supply drops within that time, not gonna buy it. Mainly because for me it was a bad addiction for me buying those COD points. It was really bad for me. It wasn't so bad for Advanced Warfare for me, but it was really bad in Black Ops 3. I don't know why it was I don't know what it was. But I bought I think probably close to $60, which I mean there's people who spent thousands, but for me $60 is not something I can afford as often as they did. So that was my biggest thing. Yeah, so I don't know when I'm gonna go back to COD, if I'm even gonna go back to COD. I won't have very many friends to play games like, I don't know, Overwatch, things like that. I mean, I have a few, but a lot of them are mainly Call of Duty. I'm going back to my roots, which was not Call of Duty. Actually, my roots were Halo. I played Halo when I was, from 10 to about, I want to say 12, and then I switched over to Call of Duty, which I still played Halo a lot. I just didn't play it as much as Call of Duty, and yeah, but so now I'm done. I'm just gonna stop playing for a little bit, but eventually, hopefully I'll go back to it, but I'm just going back to my roots, which is Halo and Battlefield. So you'll see me post Battlefield 1 most likely, because I am getting that. Let's get into this gameplay. Eventually the game will start. However, the bad note is that I don't know if any of you guys ever saw her, but I had a dog named Charlotte. This is about a month ago, I want to say, maybe 2, that she actually passed away. She had gotten a serious cancer on her spine. A serious cancer. If they were to perform the surgery, she would have spent the last 2 months of her life recovering. That's how bad it was. There's no way we would have been able to save her life and let her keep living. Not a chance in hell. So that was probably the hardest thing I've had since my last dog. And the only difference with this one, the reason it was harder, was because she lived with me from the time for a couple of years now. When I lost my last dog, he did not live with us. He lived with my grandpa, so it wasn't as hard to go into the house and go for her. That's where she sleeps. Was in the bathroom, so it's hard for me to go into the bathroom without wanting to say, "Hey, Charlotte," or something like that, you know. And with the last dog, it wasn't like that, you know. He wasn't with us, so there was no way he would stay inside the house. We couldn't even have him at the house that we lived at the time. So that was the harder part, was the fact that, I mean, I can't go into the bathroom without saying, you know, where is she, or is she somewhere else? And I mean, I'm still doing it a month, maybe 2 after. And it tells you how much a dog is worth to my family, because to a lot of families, but my family especially, they're not just a dog to us, they're not a pet, they're a family member, and it's incredibly hard to go through this once again. I mean, if you guys have went through this before, I'm sure you guys have. I mean, it's incredibly hard, and my best advice for those of you who have a pet and haven't lost them yet, be prepared to. I mean, with her, once she started having hip problems and couldn't move as well and didn't stop going on walks and stuff like that, that's when I realized, you know, she's getting old, and it's time that I accept that and realize that, you know, it's time that she might be losing like who she is soon, and like she was no longer being herself. Like she loved walks, and she lost it. Lost wanting to go on walks and all that. So it came to a point where we had no other choice other than to put her down, and it's a shame to think that, you know, that's the way it is. But she was the dog that I had for as long as I can remember. Like, I mean, I had the other one, and I had him for my entire life, well, until I was 13. But the thing was with him was that I was a little baby when I was like literally not even a baby yet. I was still inside. I was just like literally just conceived a couple days before they decided to get him. So it was, I knew him my entire life, but he was like he was there. And I don't remember like the really early stuff besides like my parents telling me. But then there's her, who I've had since I was 5, and I remember every single moment with her. And it's just, it's so much harder when you actually remember every single moment. And I mean, I hate to say it, but for those of you who have a pet that's older, you better start preparing for that. I mean, it sounds an evil thing to say that, but it's the truth. And I know a lot of you older people out there that have pets understand that and know that. But I mean, for right now, I mean, for you younger ones, especially, like dogs and cats and all that, they don't live as long as humans do. Like, and I feel like parents who have dogs, like, you know, let their kids have pets and stuff like that, they do a good job by understanding that, you know, telling the kids that you know, this is how life is, especially when you give someone like a dog, because, you know, a big dog, because they live probably the most 18 years before they start losing it. And like labs is what I had for big dogs, and they usually don't go past 15. So, you know, it's good to have dogs and all, but it's also a bad thing when you can't live your whole life with them. And I think that's a harder thing for people who get pets when they're a little bit, like when they're in teenager years, is that, you know, they don't know that they're going to lose this dog in a couple years, because they don't understand the concept of that. You know, they don't live as long. Where me, I knew they never lived as long. I knew that they wouldn't have as long as a lifespan as us, and that's because I grew up around dogs. And I just feel bad for those people who don't quite understand that, you know, no matter what you do, it's going to be hard and all that. Like, I feel like people need to start understanding that I lost train of thought. That dogs and pets like that don't really live as long, I guess, and people need to start accepting that a little bit more, because I feel like parents anymore are like too worried about saving their kids, like, you know, emotions, and they are trying to, you know, teach them how life is. And I mean, that's my point of view, and you can disagree with that if you want to, but it's how I feel, and I feel like that's happening a lot more recently. So yeah, I mean, and like, this is a bigger thing for me, is like, I always knew that, and knew they wouldn't live forever, and I feel like maybe a lot of people don't understand that anymore. I feel bad for those people who don't. So I'm not saying here, you know, your dog's gonna die tomorrow, which is never true. You don't know when they're going to die. I'm saying more or less just be prepared for what's gonna happen. And like, as well prepared as I was, it's still going to be hard. Like, I mean, like when she passed away, then my mom had taken her up to go on a walk, just up to the gas station, which isn't like 30 or 40. It's like not even like close to a mile. It's like, I think it's like 30 or 40 feet away from where we live. And yeah, so she went up there. She couldn't even make it halfway there before she just collapsed. She just collapsed out of nowhere, and like, we had no idea what happened. Well, it turns out that cancer finally got to her well enough that it was killing her, and it came to the point where she couldn't even move. Like, she literally just stopped. Like, when we took her inside, back home, she just didn't want to even get out of the car, because we had to go get the car, pick her up, which was not an easy task. She's at least 190 pounds. She was a big dog, but she so that was not an easy task to get her all the way up to you know, all the way back up to her up to the car, because the car is like good 20-30 feet away from somewhere from the ground. She's down on the ground laying down, and she was good 20-30 feet away from that. Not good 20-30 feet, like good 5 feet off the ground. I don't know why I'm going so high right now. It's like it's a really high lift for such a big dog. And especially considering the fact that if it wasn't for the fact that one of our friends, actually I'm sure you guys remember the kittens. The owner of the mom's cat roommate actually was driving by, and they saw my mom on the side of the road like that, and they just like immediately stopped and helped us there. And that was before I even knew what was going on at the time. And yeah. So it was not a fun day, and on top of all that, it was just, and then on top of all that, it was the fact that I just couldn't believe that at that point in time, I was ready for it, and I knew she was going to soon. She was getting to the point where she couldn't even walk, but then then that day was just heartbreaking because I didn't expect that day. I thought she was just like she just had a collapse. She was having a hard time breathing. She just needed to go in the hospital and get like something going on, but did not expect to hear that she had cancer and she was going to die if we didn't either put her down or get the surgery done, which we realized that surgery was not going to be the best idea. It was going to cause her more troubles than it was worth, and might not even save her life more than 2 months. So we just decided to put her down, and it was hard. And that's the one thing I give tips about, is when you have a pet, only because you think you want another year with them or another month with them, don't do it. It's more torturous for the dog than it will ever be for anything else. It's evil to that animal, and it sounds like I'm being mean about it, because if you've done that, it's your choice, obviously, but just remember that dogs and cats and all that, they all have animal rights, and they have the ability that as much as it sounds stupid, but they should have a right to choose, but they can't really express that. But I think when they're too close to death on that hospital bed,